What's good, everybody? Welcome back to my video. Today I got a video that all you guys are gonna love. You know, I got a canine expert with me right here, and just go ahead and give an introduction on who you are, how long you've been in the military, and just like pretty much what you do.
Alright, so I'm Cameron Collins. I've been in the military I just hit 8 years in January. I've been doing canine since August of 21. And with that, as far as canine, I've been to Travis Air Force Base in California. I've been to Kunsan in South Korea, and Ramstein in Germany, and then now I'm here. So far it's all good.
Alright, so my first question is, out of all the bases you've been to, what was your favorite doing canine?
So I'm gonna say my favorite would have to be Ramstein. It's a mix-up between Ramstein and Korea, Kunsan, because Ramstein I was on an explosive dog. So therefore I was getting to go on all these luxury missions across Europe, things of that nature. But with Korea, it was more of a learning for me, more learning than anything, because I was still fresh. I was maybe 4 or 5 months into K9, so when I got to Korea, I felt like it was a lot of training in a sense versus I don't know, going out and doing missions. So I had more time to focus on the training aspect and then perfecting, or at least getting better at what I was supposed to be doing.
Okay. Alright, starting my questions off. What made you want to do canine? Like, why'd you want to branch over to do that?
Okay, so at first, I'm not gonna lie, I initially wanted to join canine because I was like, I have a fear of dogs. I have a fear of dogs.
Something you want to conquer.
Yeah, so I was like, man, it'd be nice to, overcome a fear and then work with them, and then honestly love the job. So that was part of it. Also, working the gates, working flight, and even being deployed with them, seeing the handler and the dog. Obviously they have that connection, so I see that, and then also just the kennels that I've been around, they have that family kind of bond.
Yeah. And
not saying that we don't have it on flight or anything.
Sometimes
like
you
that.
don't. Yeah. Sometimes it's
sometimes
you don't
you
want to talk to people because you're afraid they're gonna rat you out. I feel like with something like that, more exclusive, you guys are more close together too.
Yeah, especially when you get to some bases, not all. The kennels are fairly small and everyone kind of hangs out. I saw that a lot in Korea. The kennels, we were super close. I mean, you're gonna have your little cliques, who you get along with more than another. But I don't know, I just felt like that connection was there, so I enjoyed it. Yeah. And then got that competition with each other too. So it's like, oh man, my dog does this better than your dog. You know what I mean? So it's like you want to prove to be you
got the top dog.
Yeah, exactly. So it gives you something to work towards.
Yeah.
And showcase your product when it's all said and done.
I feel like when what you're saying, showing off, it's really about me and my dog is the best team. You know what I'm saying? Not really just me or not really my dog. I kind of feel like it's like a package. You want to build that connection with your dog too.
Yeah, most definitely, because sometimes you get to bases and you'll have kennels putting on demos, for instance, and demos are essentially our bite work and what pleases the crowd. So most kennels, they'll be like, hey, we're gonna use this dog, and it's already a given, and you're like, dang, why am I never getting picked? You know what I mean? At that point, that's another thing you want to showcase what you got, showcase what you got, so when it does come to demos, your kennel master's like, all right, yeah, I want Collins, I want whoever, or if everyone's doing their shit, it's it doesn't matter who gets picked, you know what I mean? Because everyone's putting in the work for it, so.
Oh yeah, not for real. Wait, do you get to pick which dog you're assigned to, or? No,
so a lot, when you come into a kennel, it may be to the point where there's only one dog open, you know what I mean? So it's just hey, you're gonna work this dog, we're gonna see how you do with this dog, and then later on down the road, we'll do dog swaps. And that's just dependent on that. Also, we got to the point where it's what's the word? Oh, they go based off your like personality, you know what I mean? Like if you're not like, you know, some of these dogs, you know, like you gotta have like obviously like that confidence, and you know, like you
like
gotta
dogs
like
can sense.
yeah, like you gotta be like when you go in there and train with your dog, like you're the boss, you know what I mean? Like you're the handler, dog's listening to you and everything. So you know, sometimes people come in and you know it's just a personality, they're like very quiet, just to themselves, things like that. So it's just like, but then you get a dog that's like kind of stubborn, and you're just like, you know what I mean? Sometimes it just, you know, it may not match up, but that's what I kind of like. But then you get some kennel masters who will do the complete opposite, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, these two don't match, but we want to see more from that handler. So therefore, we're gonna pair you guys to make you better, you know, and things of that nature. You as in the handler make you better, and
it's like a partnership too.
Yeah.
And I was saying real quick, I'm thinking about doing K now. I'm not 100% sure yet, but you know what I'm saying, when I ran into him and I started asking him questions about it, he was telling me a lot of good stuff. So I was like, I might as well, you know, share it with everybody else if they want to do K9 too. It's the person to talk to. But I was gonna say about with your dog. You said it was a girl, right?
Yes.
So how long have you guys been together? You and your dog?
So we have been together. Let's see when I got here. I got here December. So I would say about after a little. Well, I'll say a little bit before Christmas. So December 24, roughly, and been together since, what is it, April? So what is that, pushing 4.5 months-ish, roughly.
You guys feel like you're really close now? Like you built
yeah.
Too?
I'll say we've improved. When I first got her, she I don't know, it seemed like she just like really didn't care for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was just like
she didn't really
yeah, exactly. So it's like at this point I'm just holding the leash for her, you know what I mean? Like she's doing all the work, she's holding the leash, but like now it's like, I don't know, she's like really like, I would say slow, I don't want to say like attached, but she does respect me now compared to.
You feel like she'll risk her life for you? Risk her life for you? You know what I'm saying? If somebody was trying to attack you,
oh yeah, 100%. She got my back.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And can you explain like the difference between the dogs? How you was telling me one's like a drug dog, and one's like for searching for like bombs and stuff like that. Can you explain that to them? Like,
so in the military there's two types of dogs. You got the explosive dog and you have a drug dog. So they're trained on two different types, explosive or drugs. And with that, it's because they respond a certain way to said drug or explosive. So we don't want to mix or confuse that. But they are able to have the patrol aspect tied up with their detection. So they can be patrol and detection, they can be patrol only, they can be detection only, and obviously they can be one of the detections with a patrol. So every base is different. You might have more of one, less of another. You might have just a good amount of patrol only dogs and a few detection dogs. You might have a bunch of detection dogs and very few patrol dogs. Sometimes with like their age, you know, they will possibly over time lose their like patrol certification, just to,
if they get older, they can't smell as good.
Yeah, so usually like once their detection capabilities are like at a minimum, that's when we retire though. But that's like at that point it's kind of like, you know, like their main job essentially, you know what I mean? So it's
fired,
like so it's like once you like lose that, it's like, let's go ahead and swap you out with somebody else. So
okay, you was telling me how like you can't keep your dog, like as soon as your work shift over, you gotta return it all back to the cage. So if you were trying to keep a dog, you have to wait until it's retired.
Correct. So while the dogs are like active military or whatnot, we have the kennels here and they stay in the kennels overnight, well 24/7, and unless you're on missions, obviously you take your dog with you on the mission. They get to live the little nice life in the hotel with you and things of that nature. But when it comes back to being at home station, they will stay in the kennel. Typically you have someone always at work, right? Like you'll typically have someone always working the road, so the dogs are to be checked on every 4 hours, things of that nature, make sure everything's good.
Like I know, like with police 4, like their job is they gotta check on the.
Yeah. So like for here, obviously we only have the handlers up until a certain point. So then that's when, you know, the police unit for this area come in, check on the dogs. Like obviously they're not to spray out, touch, mess with the dogs, anything like that. They just check on them, make sure they're still alive, got water, if anything like that. And obviously we have on-call handlers. We have people that live on base that can come tend to the dogs if anything happens to them. So
and I would hope they, you know, tend to. I'll feel bad if they just locked up in a cage and just, like what I was saying, like just used as like a military property and don't get to actually, you know, be out or, you know, relax sometimes like that too. Okay. Another question I have is, so while you was like with your dog, what's the craziest thing that you know, ever came across of? Like during your canine, you know, years.
Man, I don't know if I have like crazy experience, to be honest. Like, I mean, when I was down at like my deployment training, unfortunately my dog bit somebody, like got him in the hand. I mean,
if somebody wasn't supposed to bite?
Yeah, so we were doing like our deployment training, things of that nature, and somebody had got too close to me. Yeah. And the dog just lunged after and got him in his hand. Yeah, so that's
why I don't get close to you. Yeah, like dog with you.
Yeah, and that goes to that's why it's important when we go to guard mount, we give our brief, like how I will say, make sure you stay 5-10 feet from the dog, you know, just to be safe. Like, just look at the leash and just add like another 5 feet to the leash, like, you know what I mean, just to be safe. Like,
it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
I'll wait for the dog from a distance too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I wanted to pet your dog, but then I see "do not pet."
Yeah, that's.
I'm gonna read that. I'm not gonna touch that dog too.
That's a very common thing we get. We'll go to BX, like we'll go anywhere, you know what I mean? And I guess, you know, like people would just kind of, you know, they see a dog, so they just instantly like, you know, like, oh, okay, like I'll pet the dog, or they have
a little kid, if they grab the tail, and you're not paying attention.
Yeah. So some people, you know, they get into that mindset as they see a dog, they just want to, you know, just pet them, which, you know, I get, you know what I mean? People that like love pets and things of that nature, but military dogs are not to be pet because, you know, some of them take it as like, especially if you come up from behind them and try to pet them. Like,
you grab their tail real quick.
It's gonna be a bad day for you. But another, I guess, story I had. It wasn't even like, it was me and my dog, but I was in Germany and we were doing some patrol work, and we were doing a scout that led into me conducting a search on the decoy. So I put my dog in the down and I walked to the decoy to conduct the search, and as I was like turning around to tell the dog to stay, all I saw was this all black shepherd lunging up after me. So,
that wasn't a military dog, right?
No, it was my working dog. I put him in a down. I walked away from him, and I turn around and he's like in the air, and at this moment it felt like it was like a movie or like a video game where you can pick one or two options. It was like, okay, put the decoy in front of me and have them get bit. They got the suit on, or I just throw my arm out and and let him bite my arm. So I don't know why, but I was already holding onto the decoy, but for some reason I pushed her out of the way and I gave the dog my arm. I mean, it was obviously like the dumbest thing to do.
It's like instant reaction.
Yeah, it was just like, I don't know, just the first thing that popped up.
She got the suit. You gotta take it,
So she, like, essentially she froze up. Like, I wasn't mad at her or anything. Obviously I pushed her out of the way, but I pushed her and then I ended up getting bit right here. And it was, I had this watch that day too. For some reason, something was telling me before I started my scout to take my watch off. So I took the watch off. And then that's when I got bit. I had the 2 down here, and then I got hit on the wrist. That was a pretty painful.
What y'all do with that dog?
So when stuff like that happens, they essentially go on a bite quarantine. So they're not to do like any patrol work for 10 days. So that's usually the vet will handle all that. You can still work the dog, do everything that you need to do, but you're not to do any like controlled aggression with the dog. That's all. Like that's all that is. But yeah.
Another question I have is so anybody that's in the military and they want to get off flight and go, you know what I'm saying, do K9, what is like the training school like?
Okay, so
I know now it's in San Antonio.
Correct. Right? Yeah. So it's in San Antonio for all the branches, whether you want to do K9 from the Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force. Who else is out there? I think TSA goes out there too, if I'm not mistaken. But
alright, you can start resuming where you at.
Okay. So when it comes to handlers course, it's down in San Antonio, and you'll be down there with all the branches of the military. Everyone goes to the same handlers course when while you're in the military. It's about 11 weeks roughly, I want to say. About 11 weeks long. Personally, that was the best TDY that I've ever been on.
For the training?
For the training, and also the people that were in my class. Like, we were all, like, I think that's where, like, where that whole thing starts of being close, like, in the K9 world.
Yeah.
Like, we would get out of class, and it's like, we would all, it's like, study together for, like, the upcoming test and things of that nature. We'd all study, and then we would go out to eat or do whatever, and it was like every weekend that we had, we were always hanging out. We were always doing something.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
so
a lot better than being on flight.
Yeah, so yeah, when you like during the school, like the process of the school, it's to give you like a start. Obviously, like they're not gonna teach you everything you need to know, right? It's like going to any tech school. They're teaching you the foundation, right? Like when you're going to security forces tech school, teach you the foundation of, you know, I mean, I guess there's only so much during, like checking IDs, you know what I mean? You scan it,
yeah.
You make sure the green is green, they're
After
not suspended, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's essentially like that, but obviously they give you the foundation. They give you the commands, like follow with like the hand signals, when you're doing your detection, how, you know, they're teaching it down there, going off of that. So they give you the foundation, like I said, and then when you get to your base, your trainers, your KM, your other handlers will all help you to like advance on that. Like, okay, like you got the foundation down, now let's go on to like doing it this way, because obviously all those dogs down there, they see that stuff every day. Like they're going to the same few locations every day. Like, you know what I mean? Like they know what's about to go down. Like,
yeah.
I mean, someone out here too, but you got a little bit more room to play with when you get to your base. And then obviously when you deploy, you go to NFRT. It's all different stuff. So, and no matter where you go, like you're always essentially learning from another handler. Like,
yeah, you gotta start from the bottom.
Yeah.
Work your way up and find your skills.
100%.
I was gonna say I appreciate you doing this video. I'm not gonna take too much of your time and their time too. But yeah, thanks for doing this video and everything too.
Of course.
And if you guys have any more questions, you could put in the comment section, and then I'll send him the link to the video, and he could possibly answer it or whatnot too. Or I'll try to get back with y'all too. But until my next video, I'm out.